Good morning, afternoon, or evening. How y'all doing today? Welcome back to Mr. Morrow's Intensive Math class. Today we're going to be talking about customary measures of weight now. We already learned about customary measures of length, but now we're going to be talking about customary measures of weight. And with weight, there's a lot less to memorize, okay? With length, it's not that it was hard, but there were a few different ones. You had to learn inches to feet, feet to miles, yards and feet. So there were quite a few that you had to learn. But for today, we're just going to be talking about weight. And with weight, we just have to learn two conversions for the American system. Remember, the metric system is different, and we'll get into that later. But for the American system, for weight, all we have to learn is the fact that there's 16 ounces in a pound. And there's 2,000 pounds in 1 ton. Literally, that's it. That's it. It's done. I'm going to repeat what we repeated last time because I want to make sure that you guys understand. When you are converting from one unit of measure to another, remember, please, the following. When you're going from small to large, divide. And when you're going from large to small, multiply. So for example, if I said, I have 7 pounds, how many ounces? Well, I'm going from large to small. So I'm going to multiply. There's 16 ounces in every pound. So 16 times 7, that's going to be 112 ounces. Okay? Now, if I go from small to large, I'm going to divide. For example, let's say I have 160 ounces, and I want to know how many pounds there are. Well, in this case, I'm going from small to large, so I'm going to divide 160 by 16, and 16 goes into 160 10 times. So that would equal 10 pounds. The beauty of this with the American system is that those conversions are constant. Whenever I go from large to small, I multiply, always. Whenever I go from small to large, I divide, always. What do I divide by? That's why you have to memorize your tables. Okay? Just to have a review of length or distance, there are 1 foot has 12 inches. 1 yard equals 3 feet. 1 yard also equals 36 inches. 1 mile equals 5,280 feet. And 1 mile also equals 1,760 feet. Yards, sorry. 1 mile also equals 1,760 yards. And again, for weight, 1 pound equals 16 ounces, and 2,000 pounds equals 1 ton. So let's get to it. We have 8 pounds, 2 ounces, plus 3 pounds, 18 ounces. So I'm going to add 3 pounds here, plus 18 ounces. Now, this will give me 20 ounces and 11 pounds. Okay, same technique as with distance. Some of you got a little confused with the distance, so I'm hoping that I can clarify everything now. You have to know your tables. Aren't there 16 ounces in 1 pound? So can't I take away 16 ounces from 20 ounces? Guys, leaving me with 4 ounces, correct? But these 16 ounces, doesn't that equal 1 pound? Guys? So I have to add 1 pound. So my answer here will be 12 pounds, 4 ounces. You cannot do that, though, unless you know your tables. For subtracting, this is a very good one. You have 95 ounces minus 3 pounds, 6 ounces. Okay, we've got a little bit of a problem here. Can I take pounds away from ounces? So we've got two choices. We can turn 95 ounces into pounds and ounces and then subtract, or we can turn 3 pounds, 6 ounces into ounces. What do you think would be easier? I think either one would be just as easy, so why don't we just do both, okay? In order to turn 95 ounces into pounds and ounces, how many ounces in a pound, brothers? Okay, so I'm going to divide by 16. That's going to go in. 6 will not be too much, so we're just going to go 5. And that's going to be 80. So I've got 15 left, right? So 16 goes into 95 5 whole times. So 95 ounces gives me 5 pounds and 15 ounces left over. Do you see what I just did there? Are you sure? Okay. So now I can subtract 5 pounds, 15 ounces minus 3 pounds, 6 ounces. And 15 minus 6 is 9 ounces. 5 minus 3 is 2 pounds. And now I cannot simplify that any further. Let's say I wanted to go the other route. Let's say I wanted to turn 3 pounds, 6 ounces into pure ounces. Well, I got to go from pounds to ounces. When I'm going from large to small, I multiply. So 16 ounces in every pound times 3 pounds, that's 48 ounces, plus the 6 ounces gives me 54 ounces. 95 ounces minus 54 ounces gives me 41 ounces. But that's larger than 16, correct? So I'm going to have to turn this into pounds and ounces. So in order to go from ounces to pounds, it's going from small to large, so I'm going to divide. So 16 into 41, 16 goes into 41 2 times, which is 32, and I've got 9 left over. So this would equal 2 whole pounds and 9 ounces left over. As always, guys, we're going to have a quiz on this. This quiz will be on Monday. So you're going to have 4 days because remember tomorrow's field day. So you have today, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to study. Does everyone understand what we're doing so far before we continue? You got it, my man? Promise? Everyone's good? Okay. May I continue, gentlemen? Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. So let us continue. Number 3. We're going to have 10 pounds, 4 ounces minus 6 pounds, 9 ounces. So I've got 10 pounds, 4 ounces minus 6 pounds, 9 ounces. Just like before, guys, can I take 9 ounces away from 4 ounces? So I got to borrow. Now pay attention, guys, because this messed you up yesterday. I'm going to borrow 1 pound, leaving me with 9 pounds. And if I borrow that pound, how many ounces can I add to these 4 ounces? So that's going to become 20 ounces. Before I continue, does everyone see what I did there? I mean it, for real. Make sense? All right. So 20 minus 9 is 11 ounces. 9 minus 6, so I've got 3 pounds. 11 ounces left over. Yes, sir. You could, okay, what my boy said is he found it easier if he turns both into ounces, subtracts the ounces without borrowing, and then converts it back to pounds and ounces. That's up to you. I think that's more work, but if it works for you, who am I to tell you to do it a different way? I think it's more work, but remember what I've talked to you about in class. Sometimes I show you a way and you like a different way better. I'm not going to judge you for that. As long as you get it and you understand it, that's all that matters to me. But I will say, just It is easier to do it this way. But you do what feels good for you, sir. That's my goal. Thank you for caring. Okay, how about this is multiplied. 5 pounds, 5 ounces times 4. So this is going to equal 20 pounds, 20 ounces. Now, isn't 20 ounces larger than 16? So I can subtract 16 ounces out of here and add 1 pound. So this would be 21 pounds and 4 ounces. My brothers, do you see this? You promise? Are you sure, my brothers? I want to make sure this is nice and clear. Yes, sir. I added a pound because I took away 16 ounces, my man. So since I took away 16 ounces from the ounces, I have to put it somewhere. So I put it over here as 1 pound because there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. Correct. Anytime you take away from one unit, you got to add or subtract to the other unit. Okay? Actually, you're going to usually, well, you're adding to one unit and you're subtracting from the one you're taking it away from. May I continue, gentlemen? Okay. Okay, 18 pounds, 8 ounces divided by 2. Well, I'm going to go ahead, put my 2 out here. 18 pounds, 8 ounces divided by 2. 2 goes into 18, that's 9 pounds with nothing left over. And then 4 ounces with nothing left over. Now, it's really simple when it goes in evenly. I'm going to show you now in number 6 what happens when it doesn't go in evenly. Okay? If I have 45 out, well, actually, this one's pretty simple too. I'll give you another one that's not so easy. If I go ahead and say 45 ounces divided by 2, 2's on the outside, 45. This is pretty simple. It's a 4, that's 0. Bring down the 5, that's a 2, that's 4. Add my decimal, bring my decimal up so I don't forget. Drop a 0. So that's going to be 22.5 ounces. That one's pretty simple as well. I'll give you a second to write that down, and then we're going to do another one, okay? We're going to do another one where you actually have uneven values, and you have to borrow, okay? Or actually add over. You'll see what I mean. We did this yesterday as well in the quiz, and it messed some of you up. So I want to make sure it's not messing you up on the next quiz. For example, let's say I tell you, let's see, 35 pounds, 6 ounces divided by, let's say, 3. Okay? In this particular case, gentlemen, 3 can go into 35 10 times, right? Okay. Actually, more than that. It can go in 11 times. Now, you've got 2 pounds left over, right? Pay attention. Can 3 go into 2 pounds? But I can add these 2 pounds in the form of ounces to ounces. If there's 16 ounces in every pound, how many ounces do I have in 2 pounds? 32. So I'm going to add 32 here, gentlemen. That gives me 38 ounces now. Now, 3 goes into 3 one time. Drop down the 8. 3 goes into 8 2 times. 6. And then I have 2 left over. So I have to have a decimal. Drop a 0. And that's going to be 6 repeating. So this would be 11 pounds and 12 and 2/3 ounces. Because 0.6 repeating, hopefully you remember, is 2/3. Yes, sir, you had a question, my brother. Yes, sir, 16 times 2 pounds is 32 ounces, which I added to the 6 ounces that I already had. Why did I do that? Because I had 2 pounds left over. Can 3 go into 2 pounds? So I had to take those pounds and add it over to the ounces. See what I'm saying, my man? Thank you, my brother. Yes, sir. If you put 12.6 repeating, that would not be wrong, but we've worked so hard on this already, guys. I expect you to know your decimal to fraction conversions, but no, the answer would not be wrong, sir. But usually, in real math and real life situations, people don't work with point 0.6 repeating, they work with 2/3. Thank you, sir, for caring and asking. May I continue? All right. 18 ounces equals how many pounds? Am I going from large to small or small to large? So small to large, do I multiply or divide? I divide. So 16 goes into 18 one time with 2 left over. Drop up a decimal, put up a decimal, drop a 0. 16 goes into 20 one time as well. 4. That goes in 2 times, which is 32. It's not repeating. This is 8. This drops down. 16 goes into 80 5 times on the money. So this would equal 1.125 pounds, or in fraction form, it's 1 and 1/8 of a pound. How did I do that? Well, 0.125, I can convert that to 125 thousandths and reduce, or you could memorize what I asked you to memorize, and you should know by now that 1/8 equals 0.125. How about 4 pounds to ounces? Am I going small to large or large to small? So do I multiply or divide? So I'm going to multiply 16 times 4, which equals 64 ounces. Does that make sense, gentlemen? Okay? You with me here, boys? Promise? All right, do I have another one? Yes, I do. Okay, how about 8 pounds, 6 ounces? I want it all in ounces. So that means I'm going to have to turn these 8 pounds into ounces. So I'm going from pounds to ounces, so do I multiply or divide? I multiply because I'm going large to small. So 16 times 8, very good, my man. That is 48, carry the 4. That's 128 ounces plus 6 ounces equals 134 ounces. Does that make sense, gentlemen? May I continue, gentlemen? Okay. Last 3. 22 pounds to blank ounces. Am I going large to small or small to large? So do I multiply or divide? I multiply by 16. That's going to be 2, 1, 12 plus 1. That's 13. Skip a space, 2 and 2. That is 352 ounces. How about 120 ounces to pounds? I'm dividing because I'm going from small to large. Excellent, sir. So 16 into 120. That's going to go in, let's see, 5 is 86. 9? No, 90 and 54 will be too much. 8, 80, and that's it, 8. Because 16 times 8, that's 8 and 4. So that's 120. No, too much. Too much there. Let's try 7. 16 times 7, you got 2, 4, that's 112. There it is, 7. So that goes in 7 times. So that's 112. You got 8, add a decimal, bring it up, drop a 0. 16 goes into 85 times. So that is 7.5 pounds on the money exactly. Good man. Does that make sense, gentlemen? Are you sure, my brothers? Come again? Yeah, yeah, I know. I just wanted to make sure you guys got this. And last but not least, yes, sir, my brother. You didn't have to borrow there because you're not adding or subtracting, you're just converting. Thank you for asking, sir. Okay, so here you got 15 pounds, 28 ounces. I want this all in pounds, guys. I want this all in pounds. So I'm going to have to convert this into pounds. So I'm going small to large. So do I multiply or divide? So 16 goes into 28 one time, which is 16. I'm left with 12. Add a decimal. Drop it down. Good job. 16 goes into 120 7 times. 8. Add another 0. I'm very proud of you. And that goes in 5. So I have 15 pounds plus 1.75 pounds, which will equal 16.75 pounds. Okay, some of you guys got a little nervous there for a second. Please remember, 15 has a decimal here. So 1.75, when we're adding or subtracting decimals, I must line up the decimals, my brothers. So that is 16.75 pounds. Does that make sense, gentlemen? We're all good? Okay. I hope you learned a lot. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.